Enjoy the silence.
Von Allen Sports.
If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
Hey, look, here's the deal. Look, I want to buck you guys up a little bit. Did you hear what I said? I said buck you guys up. Von Allen Sports, this is Sleepy Joe, and I got to give you a shout out, man. He's a good guy, because he could kick my ass, that's why. But he's not going to do that. He's going to pick on an old man. Here's the deal, guys. I got a whole dossier on you here. You probably never shut up about Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady. Von Allen Sports, let's go. I don't like that, man. That's too close to let's go Brandon. Let's be honest, you football guys. I know what you're doing at the game. You're all chanting, let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon. Von Allen Sports, let's go. I think you guys are great. And I think I ought to join your group. You know why? Because I'm basement butthurt, that's why. I spent the whole campaign in the basement, and I'm gonna do it again. That's how I win, you know. They locked me in the basement. So I'm basement butthurt. I'm halfway there, guys. Let's do this. Come on, man.
Von Allen Sports on Patreon. Fuck you. I'm joining.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports. The Pharaoh. The Egyptian god himself. Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
Von Allen Sports. Von Allen Sports.
Enjoy the silence.
Von Allen Sports.
If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
Hey.
What's up, guys? 27 minutes late. Sorry about that. Shit happens. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. Let's see. So, let me see who's here. Elva Courage already sent a super chat. Thank you, Elf. I appreciate it, man. And yeah, well, I'll post that like real fast, like here in a second. Let me see here. Whoa, no, that's too much. I think that's good. I think we're good. Okay. Israel. Okay, well, we'll see. Cowboys is a big game. I'm shocked. I know you're not here right now, probably, but I'm shocked by the Eagles not competing against the 49ers. I mean, was that a good 49ers? Was that a great 49ers? Or was that just Eagles getting exposed? Or was that just one of those weird matchup things? And we'll talk about that because that could have some bearing on the division situation, especially if Dallas can get a win. Yeah, no tanking. The Minuteman says no tanking. So no tanking. They were able to beat the Steelers. The Steelers are notorious for playing down to their competition. That's generally what they do. That's kind of normal for them. That's kind of been their MO for, well, a long time. Let's just say maybe 10 years probably. That's been their MO. And the Steelers, the way they seem to play down the competition means that this is a problem that is this is a motivational problem. This is a preparation problem. So as you guys know, one of the strongest things about Bill Belichick, at least during the Tom Brady era, is that they seem to take bad teams seriously, and would always talk them up and things like that. And it's impossible to take every bad team seriously, to be honest, even if you try or even if you want to coach them up. But the Steelers consistently lose to teams that are just flat out terrible. And they have lost 2 straight to 2 teams that are vying for the number 1 pick. Okay, so they're probably going to end up with like being 2 and 3, but they're in that running unless Carolina, for some reason, decides that they can actually beat somebody. Carolina's not tanking, so it's very possible that New England or Arizona could end up with the number 1 pick overall, specifically because Carolina has no reason to tank. Their pick goes to the Bears. So there's no reason to add losses to your legacy, to your team's record, and and all that. So they clearly are trying. They just suck that bad, and that's extremely embarrassing. The first super chat we have is Elf of Courage. Since a $10 super chat, he says Jordan Love beat Patrick Mahomes. Clearly, Jordan Love is better than all of those dudes ever were, right? Okay, so this is the Ryan Clark meme that I put in one of the Brady Hate Saga episodes. That is, though Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all of their greatest seasons, Patrick Mahomes is greater than all those dudes ever were, right? Okay, so here we go. Apparently, we're going to have to say this every time now. So, okay. Now, to my credit, just to pat myself on the back a little bit, Bitcoin Motorist and Redcoat were here on Sunday, and we were watching the early game, which was the Philly 49ers game. And we thought that was going to be a great game. That's why we got together, okay? But that turned out to be a blowout, so we ended up just talking about random shit. So, but I did say, and Bitcoin and Redcoat, if they're here, they can back me up on that. I think the Packers can beat the Chiefs. I think. Now, I didn't say they were going to beat the Chiefs, but I did say I think they're capable of at least. I said I think this game will be better than we think it will be. I just had a feeling. Lambeau's a weird place to play, and sometimes the Packers can sneak a weird win out of there or something like that. But yeah, it was a good game, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I like when they put in primetime teams that we kind of are annoyed by. I think it makes it more fun, more exciting. So it was nice to see Jordan Love and the Packers get that. And again, Jordan Love playing okay. He's not great or anything. I mean, he's not Aaron Rodgers 08 Aaron Rodgers, and all that. But maybe something can happen for him there. So, but yeah, that's a good. That's a good super chat there, Elf. And tonight we're actually going to talk about college football just real quick because there's a reason. There's NFL implications. And frankly, because I can't ignore it because there's so much crap being talked about this last week. All right. Redco. Oh, he is here. Redco. Since a $10 super chat, he says, we still own the Steelers even when we suck. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is the truth. Even when we're supposed to be bad and we're supposed to be losing, we still just can't not beat the Steelers. That is something that is just like a rite of passage between New England and Pittsburgh in the last 23 years. It's freaking hilarious. Yeah, see, Jason Saunders, that he's backing me up. There we go. But, yeah. Okay, let me catch up here. Trubisky is terrible. Yes. So I posted this. I don't know if you guys saw this in the community section of YouTube, but I posted it yesterday. That Stephen A. Smith was getting angry, and he said he's done with Pittsburgh for the rest of the year. He doesn't want to talk about them anymore. He's finished. And he said, why is Mitchell Trubisky still in the league? Okay, so why is this guy still on a team? Why is he still getting chances? He cannot throw. Okay, he could not hit the broadside of a fucking barn. Okay, if his life depended on it. Did you see how badly this guy throws the football? He is absolutely terrible. And the answer to that, Stephen A., which Stephen A. is right to ask this because it makes no sense. The answer to this is first round bias. There it is. Hey, what'd you do with my cat? Well, she wants on the show. I told you that. Okay. Okay. Oh, makeup? Okay. So, all right. So there's your first round bias that I was talking about last week and the week before and the week before and the week before. And that what I've been talking about nearly all year long is this first round bias. You get taken in the early first round and you are treated like a king. And forever you are pampered and given second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chances. Because people cannot deal with the fact that everybody missed on these people. They cannot deal with the fact that they're just not good. College is different than NFL. It is way different. In college, which right now, it looks like the same mistakes are being made with the upcoming quarterbacks. Not all of them, one of them specifically. But what works at the college level when the vast majority of these kids will never play football, organized football, ever again after college, meaning that they're just good enough to play at the college level, which is good still. I mean, I'm not knocking them saying they suck. That's phenomenal to be able to play even collegiate level for those big schools, right? But that's as far as it goes for them. So if you take that one guy who's better than everybody in college, he's just another guy. And the reason that he's just another guy in the NFL, because everybody in the NFL is athletic. Everybody in the NFL, depending on your position, everybody's fast. Everybody is strong. Everybody is smart and knows their game and knows their position. Quarterback is really the only position that we have where the difference between a starting quarterback, like a franchise quarterback, not a starting quarterback, a franchise quarterback, a guy who's going to be your guy for a long time, the difference in skill level between that guy and the rest of them is so massive. And you just don't see this differential a lot in any sport, really. Look at, you can look at all kinds of other sports and you can see like there's like okay, this guy's great, so great at what he does, but these other guys are great too, and all that. With the quarterback, it's either you are just amazing or you're kind of okay, or you're trash. Okay, you're just like, why are you here? Why are you on the team? Well, that's Mitchell Trubisky. But that's going to end up that if you look at all the drafts and you go back in time, that's most of these quarterbacks. Okay, that's most of what happens to them. So suddenly I'm supposed to believe that Caleb Williams, from the quarterback from USC, used to be in Oklahoma, that he's very popular here in town, here in LA. Everyone loves him, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he's supposed to be the savior for the Chicago Bears. Interesting. So apparently it's the Bears, all they need is just a quarterback, right? They're just a quarterback away. Is that the deal? Okay. Go look at their draft history for the last 23 years when it comes to quarterbacks. Take a look. Okay? The best moment they ever had of this 21st century is when they went out and got Jay Cutler from Denver. So they actually had to go get somebody else's drafted quarterback. So that was their best moment in Chicago quarterbacking. And that guy couldn't give less of a fuck about playing football. I mean, literally, this guy, he's a meme. Okay, Jay Cutler is literally a meme everywhere. He's the meme you post if you don't give a shit about anything at all. Okay, you post him being your pilot, smoking a cigarette. Okay, I'm over it. I'm out of here. That's Jay Cutler. Okay, that was the best moment in Chicago Bears quarterbacking in the 21st century. That's utterly pathetic. And so all of a sudden, Caleb Williams is going to be their guy, right? Bullshit. Okay, so Caleb Williams, talking about Caleb Williams, he is going to be a bust. Okay, so I don't normally give grades until April, before the draft. But there's a lot of hoopla going on around him because he's been having some strange negotiating stuff going on. It's very bizarre. But he's going to be a bust. And the reason why he's going to be a bust is because of where he's going to go. Now, there is not a Chiefs team that will move up. This isn't 2017 where a Chiefs team moves up to 10, a good Chiefs team, okay, led by Alex Smith. They're making the playoffs, got a Super Bowl coach, a coach who's coaching the Super Bowl, and comes in, swoops in at 10, and grabs him. And doesn't even grab him with the intention of starting him the first year, but keeps him in the back burner so he can learn under a good quarterback like Alex. That is beyond the perfect situation, okay? Now, Mahomes didn't just fall to a random team that is going to have to change their program or whatever and hope that he can fit or be that guy, okay? That wasn't the situation. Mahomes was selected by Andy Reid on purpose. There was only one guy he wanted, and it was him. He didn't care about what school he went to or what any of that crap. He knew that was the guy that he wanted to run his system. If you go back and look at Alex Smith on the Chiefs, every single year I can point you to any random game you want, and you'll see Alex Smith doing exactly what Patrick Mahomes does now. Now, when I say exactly, I'm talking about the style. I'm talking about the weird broken plays and stuff, okay? The difference is Patrick is better at it. So he is more efficient at it. He can do it more often, stronger arm, more intuition, when things break down, stuff like that. Alex has got some strong points too. But the point is that it's the same thing. So Andy Reid knew exactly what he was looking for, so that fit perfect. That is not going to be the case for Caleb Williams. Caleb is going to be a Chicago Bear, most likely, unless Carolina just starts winning some games, and his career is over before it ever begins. So that's the case with this team, and that's what are they going to do for him, And I don't think that he fits the NFL structure unless you've got an Andy Reid style situation, and he's not going to get that. So it's partly that his style, the worst thing for him is that he's being compared to Mahomes, because Mahomes' entire success is all based on the situation that he was drafted to. And good for Patrick. That's what you want. That's what we talk about all the time. We always say what you want as a quarterback is you want to go to a perfect place for you. And you still got to do what you do, okay, on those teams. But that's not going to be the case for Caleb. So, no, he's popular and all that. The problem for him, even worse, is that not only is he going to be expected to be a savior, but the guy is a diva apparently. So he's wanting I don't know if it's true or not. I've seen a lot of articles about it that he was wanting ownership in a small percent of the ownership of whatever team takes him, and that was to circumvent the collective bargaining agreement around the rookie contracts, which aren't big money like they used to be. So, just about 12 years ago, I think Andrew Luck was the first class. I think 2012 was the first class when that stopped. But before that, if you were a rookie quarterback and one of the top picks, they threw money at you. Like your guaranteed money was ridiculous, and you hadn't even stepped on the field. Well, the NFL Players Union changed that and thought it was ridiculous for rookies to come in who've never done anything and taking money away from veterans, which I completely agree with. I'm glad they did that. That's fantastic, and it's been fantastic. He's trying to circumvent that and of course it's a big joke, okay, as far as like if it's possible. It's not possible. You would need 70% majority of the owner voting to allow that to take place, because right now it's against the rules, which is why they wouldn't let Tom Brady do it. And I think even Aaron Rodgers had some interest in owning part of the Jets. So that's not the point, because that's not going to happen. The point is him asking for something like that. And now he's not going to play in their bowl game because he wants part of the bowl revenue or whatever. I think that's a weird thing. I've never heard of this. I didn't even know that was something that people did. But again, if that is the case, that is problematic already. That means that he is not a guy that you want for your franchise for 15, 20 years. That's not going to, that's not, with that attitude and with that mindset, he's not going to be on the same team for very long anyway, because we know exactly what it takes with the salary cap and how things are. So quarterbacks are already taking a huge chunk of the salary already. The teams, they're going to want to take advantage of that player's first 5 years in the league, or usually if they're good, they're going to re-sign them after the 4th year, but it's still, they won't have to pay that money in the 5th year. But they want to take advantage of that time. So if you want to win your championships now, you need to win them early. You need to win them soon, because when that rookie contract comes up, everything changes. All right. So, I mean, is everybody going to sign their guy to a 10-year deal like Patrick Mahomes? I doubt it. So, that the Joe Biden thing, that guy is a comedian from the show Gutfeld on Fox News. I thought he was funny, so I asked him to do a bit. That's what that was. So. The Minuteman says, this upcoming year, Caleb Williams reminds me of football baby in the negative sense. Yegar Tharn says, I see too much of Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell and Williams, and I'm a USC fan. My old man went there and was in the marching band. That's awesome, man. He says, Bears haven't had a quarterback since Sid Luckman and are sub 500 as a franchise since Sid's retirement. Just to let you guys know, that was a very long time ago, like before any of us were born. Unless someone watching right now is very old. So, is it the Luckman curse? Yeah, exactly, Elf. It's like the curse of Bobby Lane with the Detroit Lions. Yeah, maybe the Lions can break that curse. You know, maybe. So they're looking pretty good, right? We'll see. I mean, the curse usually runs out eventually. Even the curse of the Bambino, Babe Ruth's curse with the Red Sox. When the Red Sox sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees for money so he could start a musical. Yes, that really happened, by the way. But that curse eventually ran out. There was the New York Rangers curse where they couldn't win the Stanley Cup since 1940. These curses get fixed, when the Rangers won in 93. So eventually they've got to break through, right? So, but it's not going to be now, and it's not going to be Caleb Williams, okay? The quarterback that is going to save the Bears, that is going to be the guy for them, will be a franchise guy who is a pocket passer. And when I say pocket passer, it doesn't mean that he's a statue, okay? Most of these kids now are all athletes. So even the pocket passers and the slower ones are far more athletic than any of the quarterbacks before. So that's a given. But when I say pocket passer, I mean that's their habit. That's what their first instinct is. And it's going to be a tall, traditional pocket passer that fixes it for the Bears. Otherwise, they're never going to get anywhere. They keep drafting the same quarterbacks with this, the RPO options and doing all these different, stupid shit things. And they tried to do it with Trubisky. Then they tried to do it recently with Fields. It's not going to work. It's just not the style that is for a team that's not built for that style. You need a mastermind of an offensive coordinator to understand how all that works, and you have to have the right players, okay? Another thing about this style is being solved, okay? So something about, okay, one of the hardest things to defend in football, I know this is kind of obvious, but it's just bear with me. One of the hardest things to defend in football is a broken play. So a defensive back, a scheme, any kind of defensive scheme that you've got back there, it is all reliant on a play to last a certain amount of seconds. Once the play keeps going and going forever, all of that goes out the window because the wide receivers have already completed their routes. And now they're trying to get open again, and they're all just making it up as where they go. It's impossible to defend this. It's very, very difficult. And if you got a good quarterback that can make that happen, like Mahomes, you're going to find guys that are just standing there wide open because they're the guy that was covering them or the guy who was responsible for his zone. Everything's been screwed up. So it's just really difficult. Okay. So, but you need somebody, a coach and a general manager who understands that, who has the right players to do those things and to scheme them open, because those broken plays don't happen every play, every down. You need consistency in other areas. That's not the Bears. Okay, so until the Bears have that, this won't work for them. And it doesn't work most of the time. It just doesn't. It's a played out style. It works in football. It works in college football. It has for a long time, but it still isn't that relevant. It's not really just, it's not produced Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, multiple Super Bowl, those guys. If you look at all the Super Bowls, even up till now, most of them are guys that can throw the ball. Mahomes, in his case, is somewhat of an anomaly, but again, he's got that perfect situation. If you can get that situation somewhere else, then more power to you. But these guys are drafting guys, and when you draft a quarterback first overall, you're hoping that they just change your program and everything. They're the savior. You can't do that if you're not drafting the guy that fits you. Okay, you can't just take the most popular name off the board because he's the most popular name. Okay, the Raiders did that with Jamarcus Russell. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is Jamarcus Russell. Whoever said that earlier I disagree. I don't think he's that bad. Okay, Jamarcus Russell is literally the worst draft pick ever chosen in the history of football. All right, And that honor, of course, belongs to the Raiders, because why wouldn't it, right? It's like such a Raiders thing to do. I remember before that draft, everybody was saying, everyone, okay, that I knew was like, bust. You can just see it. I don't think Caleb Williams is like that. I think he's I think Football Baby is probably closer, as far as going to be able to do some cool things, some exciting things here and there, but it's just not going to be enough. And it's not. I don't think he's got the mind for it, and I think it's just not there. It's not. It's a wasted pick. If I was the Bears, I would probably trade that pick. If I could, maybe turn that into a bunch of things. It just depends on how much somebody's willing to give you for it. The Bears are just not in a position to do anything right now. It's ownership, honestly. It's ownership. It doesn't matter if they get the quarterback, their general manager, whoever's coaching for them at any given time is not going to be correct. They just don't have it together. Like, again, going back to the Andy Reid situation, Andy had already been coaching in Kansas City for years before he went and got Patrick. There was a stable environment there. There was a good ownership, good general manager, and good head coach. And that's perfect, you know. And you already had a winning culture. I mean, they were getting to the playoffs. They were winning games. They were making noise. They were doing stuff. So that's a big difference than that. So if I were the Bears, I would just be like, you know what? But they're not going to do that, because that's why they are the Bears. So they're going to take the big name, hoping that is going to be their fix, even though it wasn't with Justin Fields, and it wasn't with Mitchell Trubisky, and it wasn't with any other idiot who came through there. But they're going to consistently still do that, because that's what they do. It's like a person voting Democrat, okay? No matter how much crime is in your city, no matter how close to the brink of World War III we're fucking in, no matter how much milk costs you now, you're still going to vote Democrat, because that's just what you do, okay? So the Bears are going to be the Bears, and they're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. Meanwhile, the Patriots could end up with the second pick. The Cardinals looks like they're trying to try to earn that as well. I think it's tied right now. I'm not sure who's got the number one, who's in front for this number 2 spot, if it's Arizona or New England. Last I checked, it was New England, I think. But, yeah. But, man, I tell you what. If somebody could come in, okay? If they could just get a GM that is just otherworldly. I'm talking about the Bears. If they could get a GM that just comes in and just knows exactly what he's doing, maybe like a younger guy who kind of who's like a bridge between the old school way and the new stuff, kind of like, you know, really get that correct. Honestly, I think Nick Caserio was a bad loss for the New England Patriots. I think one of the worst things Kraft did, that doesn't count getting rid of Tom Brady, is letting Nick go and not making him GM. Or at least put him on a level with that somehow. But take a guy like that that can hire the right coach and put those pieces around him. Then they might have a chance. But I still wouldn't take Caleb Williams, because what Caleb Williams is going to need is a situation that has to be in the making already, that has to already exist. Another example I could give you is the Baltimore Ravens. So when Joe Flacco was still the quarterback, I did a video. This was before Von Allen Sports, right before Von Allen Sports, actually. I did a video. I didn't release it because I didn't have a way to do it at the time. I was intending on releasing it, but I was talking about where Colin Kaepernick could go. And I recommended the Baltimore Ravens because I knew that they were looking for they were changing their whole team. Do you guys remember this? Like, it was a transition. Each year you could see that they were getting pieces that fit maybe more of a guy like Lamar Jackson, exactly like Lamar Jackson. They were looking for a guy like that. Of course, they ended up with Lamar. That's great for them, but they were going to take a guy like that regardless. That's what they were looking for. But they were already merging their team in that direction. You already had a good head coach who has a history. He's already won a Super Bowl. So there's a foundation there. You got a great GM with Ozzie Newsome and all that. So you've got a foundation there. And so it's working for Lamar. They ain't got a Super Bowl, but he's already got an MVP and everything, and he's exactly what we'd say is a franchise quarterback. But the Ravens had moved in that direction, and they were slowly moving that direction, and then took Lamar. And, and even Joe played that most of that first year until he got switched out. So, veteran quarterback, stability, good head coach, good GM. Does that sound familiar? That sounds like the Chiefs situation, right? That's what these kind of players need. The Chicago Bears don't have that kind of time. It's not possible. So what I would do, get a good GM if they could do that, and they could trade out of that first pick and just get like a whole mess load of crap. We're talking Rams, Redskins kind of thing, something like that. That would be, then the Bears would be, they could be scary in 2 or 3 years. I would be like, okay, let's see. But they're the Bears, so they won't do it probably. Yeah, the bowl game ownership. Like I said, I don't know about that. It seemed weird to me. I don't know if it's true or someone making fun of them. I thought because there is a way you could get percentage of the you could do a deal with the sponsors, right? But he did try to float, his agent tried to float the idea about owning a piece of the ownership. So when I saw about the bowl game, I thought maybe it was someone taking a shot at him, but I didn't bother to confirm it. I just saw it pop up somewhere, I think in the Facebook group or something. But who knows, right? Who knows? So, but yeah, that's why I said originally, I was like, I don't know if that's a real thing. It sounds kind of goofy, but Justin Shetler. Oh, I screwed that up again. Shetler. Justin Shetler. Would Brady win a Lombardi? Got another super chat. Would Brady win a Lombardi with Chicago if he came back next year? No. No. If it's just him and he can't like help with the coach and all that and can't bring in guys, then absolutely not. Okay, there's even some things that the GOAT can't accomplish, okay? So, yeah. We have to remember that when Brady went to the Bucs, we had been so spoiled in New England by good decision making and like offensive linemen not going, false starting in the worst possible moments, or the defense doing something stupid, things like that, or throwing it deep when you're up by 3 touchdowns and just so the defense can come back and shit like that. We weren't used to that stuff. We were used to very good fundamentals, okay? And that's why it's so dangerous to give Belichick a quarterback like Brady, because if you combine them, you've got something. The only problem for Belichick is that without Brady, he has got nothing. So he can be great. So it doesn't mean that another coach could have done in New England what happened with Brady, okay? It doesn't mean that. It just means that Belichick and Tom Brady were a great pair. But if you split them up, one can still continue and the other one needs the other too much, and there's too much of a... Now, generally speaking, you would think it was It would be the other way around. Naturally, you would think that, okay, a guy who's responsible for the whole team should be able to move on and should be able to replace one player, one position, even if it is quarterback. You would think that that would be the case, okay? Especially when we're talking about a league where Joe Gibbs wins 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks, 2 of which are, quarterbacks that nobody even really thought much of, okay? So you would expect that kind of thing, right? But I didn't see this coming, like it being such a drop-off. But anyway, back to what I was saying before I get off track here. When Tom went to Tampa, we weren't used to seeing this Bruce Arians stupid style, okay? Bruce Arians almost costed them the NFC Championship game against the Packers. And it was the Green Bay Packers in the second half that decided that they didn't, I guess, want the game because they played like cowards at the end there. And I'm not saying they would have won, but you don't kick a field goal hoping that you can keep Tom Brady from getting a first down in a championship game. It's kind of weird, I would have just went down with the ship and whatever. But they tried everything they could to let the Packers come back in that game. That should have been, if that was a Patriots team that was up by that much, there's no throwing deep. There is just putting that game away. There is no 3 interceptions. And you could see that Bruce Arians just kept wanting to throw it. That was maddening, all right? But even with that was still decent coaching. And you know why it was decent coaching, looking back on it? It's because we saw how bad it could get with Todd Bowles. We never thought it could get worse than that because we were so spoiled with the fundamentals. Now, the fundamentals in New England were not just Belichick, okay? He had a whole team around him of good people, good coaches, smart people. You had Ernie Adams, who always would run the practices and watch what was going on and have everything prepared. You had Dante Scarnecchia, the offensive lineman coach, which made a huge difference. So you had a lot of people around him. But never could I have imagined that things could get any worse than Bruce Arians. I thought the drop-off was huge. And then when you went from Arians to Todd Bowles, and I've never seen a coaching job so shitty as last year. Just because the reason Todd Bowles is 2022 coaching, the reason that is the greatest shittiest coaching job of all time is because compared to what you have with what you're doing is inexcusable. It's easy to say, oh, it's the coach of the Carolina Panthers. Well, who the fuck do the Panthers have? Okay, who are they winning with right now? All right, fucking give them Vince Lombardi. Nobody's winning with that shit organization. Okay, it's not happening. But when you were given a Rolls Royce, okay, and you crashed into a fucking tree, that's what Todd Bowles did. So, yeah, that's. But even Tom Brady cannot save what the Bears are right now, and that's. I think we learned that with last year. 146 Zigzag sends a $5 super chat. He says, FSU can keep crying. Roll damn Tide. Yeah, so FSU they didn't get to go to the playoffs, the Final Four playoff thing. So I could tell you how I feel about FSU not getting to be in the Final Four playoffs. To paraphrase my cat, Isabel, I give 0 fucks. Or I could rephrase, 0 fucks given. How about that? Or I'm over it. Actually, I was never under it, so. All right. Okay, I know that's important to some people. I'm not trying to be a dick here. Well, maybe I am a little bit, but whoever is in the Final Four, it's not really a tournament, is it? It's not really a tournament, and that's why I don't think it matters. there's still a selection process. You know, why not let seed and rankings and then have a real tournament? Like, I don't know exactly how college would do that. They would have to extend the season. Apparently, you'd have to play more games or cut off from the regular season, even though it's already kind of short, compared to NFL. But at least it would be more realistic. And I don't see anybody arguing, oh, my team didn't get the 13th spot in the playoffs. It's like, okay. Why a selection process? I don't even understand that. We don't have selection processes in the NFL. There's nobody that's just picking the team to go. It's either you are the team or you're not. And there's protocol and there's statistics and there's things that decide those things. So I don't know. Makes you wonder if this was NCAA's way of not relinquishing control. I don't think they ever wanted that playoff, did they? So, yeah, I don't know. But does it really matter? Is there a winner? I mean, when they're selected, usually, even before the playoff, they were selected. I don't know. I always thought that was weird. I thought that was strange that people are just picked or chosen. It's like, shouldn't there be some kind of formula that tells you who's the best and who is this, like 1 seed, 2 seed, and all that? Okay. So, yeah. Although the Florida State Seminoles, they do have a badass mascot until, of course, it's taken from them. Okay. Kyler is his ceiling. Yeah. The draft random Patriots fan. The Bears draft capital is unreal. It's really hard to screw this one up, but they will find a way. Going back to your super chat, Zigzag. By the way, Alabama, I'm going for them. Not that it matters much, I guess, but I hope they win. So good for them. I have personal reasons why I hope they win. It has nothing to do with anything else. Ace says, fun fact, Otto Graham has 44 rushing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 1 pick six, and 262 punt return yards. Yeah, I know that's interesting, isn't it? Different time. By the way, I want to let you guys know that some of you are not in the tournament. You can enter. You have until next Saturday is the final week. We pushed it back because we want to run it into the playoffs because we have an idea, a very cool idea for the ending, the setup there in the playoff time. So yeah, that requires pushing it back 1 week to have that effect. So you have 1 week. Make sure you get on. It's patreon.com/Von Allen. $5 is the minimum. Yep, just to get 1 entry. And you can get up to 8 entries by selecting the largest tier. So make sure you guys do that. You got 1 week left to do that. Okay. Let's see here. Who? Igor Thorne says thrown or caught. I know who's Iron Man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. He says 44 rushing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Oh, I think he means that Otto Graham has 7 interceptions, meaning he picked off. He's caught 7 interceptions. Yeah, and he has 1 pick six. Yeah, because certainly he would have more than 7 interceptions throwing the ball. So I think the stats are just for non-quarterback stats. It's crazy. It really is. But even when I was a kid, that wasn't strange as far as playing offense. We did that. A lot of us would play offense and defense, and then move around positions and stuff like that. So, especially in smaller schools. Alpha Courage says Brady allowed Bill to focus more on the defense. Yeah, so that's like I've always said that you can find a good if you can have a defensive coach and that just has the guy that can take care of the offense, then you should be able to put a little more money on the defense. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that actually is pretty smart, because that's what you want out of your quarterback. You want him to be able to cover up for things that you can't afford to get, so your defense can look better. And you need to do that. And that's why I find it hilarious how everyone's saying, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes, he needs wide receivers, he needs this and he needs that." But their defense is playing great. Their defense is holding people. So Andy Reid, he went and got Spagnuolo, a few years back. But the whole point of getting him was to improve the defense, because the defense was just like giving up points like crazy, but it was all offensive heavy. So he needed, but that takes time. You're not going to fix it in 1 year usually. But they did get to the Super Bowl. They got wiped out, of course, by Tampa that one Super Bowl. But it takes a few years, and now the defense is actually doing pretty well, and they're playing well. And now the offense is struggling. Well, the offense is struggling because they're missing things. They're missing things on offense, missing pieces, and you need that quarterback to be able to fill those gaps. That was what was so great about Tom Brady, is that you didn't need. He didn't have to have Randy Moss every year. You didn't have to give him a $20 million a year wide receiver or a $12 million a year running back all the time. It would have been nice, but you didn't have to. And you're still able to get 6 Super Bowls and 9 Super Bowl appearances out of it. That's insane, right? And you did that without him spending much time with elite talent around him in the wide receiver and running back, especially running back. So that's what you want. So I never thought that was bad of the Patriots to do that. In fact, I think that other teams could have benefited from doing that. I think the Saints could have won more than 1 Super Bowl had they maybe gone in that direction. Now Peyton is an offensive coach, but maybe if he had said, maybe we want to pull, if Drew could do more, and then the defense was just better, just way better. But maybe Drew wasn't the guy to do that. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe that wasn't their thing. So not every quarterback can do it. Okay. We've had quarterbacks paired with great defensive coaches, and it just didn't work. Dan Marino, and Don Shula, for the Dolphins, they couldn't get it done either. And then it was at the end of Marino's career, but they had Jimmy Johnson. So I don't know. Yeah, Arians is a gambler, but then there's gambler, and then there's fucking idiot. Okay? And Arians at times would cross into the area of fucking idiot. So gambler, okay, so even if you're gambling, there should be at least some intelligence behind it, and some rational thinking going towards it. For example, in the same game, the Packers game, the NFC Championship game, at the very end, he decided to just throw it deep into the end zone. That was cool, right? That was great. There were other times that year that they would go for it on 4th down. It worked out, and so they did that. That was gambling, right? That was cool. That was smart decision making. Guessing. If it didn't work, okay, I wouldn't have eaten his lunch for that. What was stupid was the second half, throwing it deep constantly One interception wasn't enough to make you go, okay, maybe we should just play our game. And I'm not saying don't go deep, okay? I'm just saying that they just kept throwing it deep like senselessly. It was. You should rewatch that live show. I had a nervous breakdown during that game. Me and Redcoat were just losing our shit, right? But they continued to do it. I even would call it, at one point I was like, if they throw it deep again for another interception, I'm just going to fucking kill myself. And they did. They just threw it deep and another pick. Just stupidly. Just kept bringing the Packers, giving them more and more chances. Thankfully, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers couldn't capitalize on it enough to make a difference. But he tried to trash the game. If that was a Patriots team, that lead would have held steady, most likely. Especially with Aaron Rodgers not being exactly known for, pulling off stuff like that. Or we're not talking about Peyton here, the Colts and the Patriots in 2006 or something like that. So, which I still don't understand how the hell the Patriots lost that game. My God. After Asante Samuel had that pick six, it was 21. We had 21 points before half. I was like, we're going to another Super Bowl. This is unbelievable. We're going to another Super Bowl with a bunch of scrubs, with a bunch of losers, comparatively speaking. And they were about to take it. And unfortunately, that game ended with a Tom Brady pick, which is a rare thing. But he did throw the pick, and he could have taken them down and won the game. So that was a rare moment when Tom failed. But look how far they got, right? That was impressive. But you got Peyton over there doing his job too, and he's one of the greatest players that's ever played the game. So. Albuquerque says, we didn't have running backs. We just had short yardage wide receivers. Well, that was the running game. Yeah, exactly. That the running. Imagine if Tom had Adrian Peterson, Come on. Are you kidding me? That would have been phenomenal. Imagine Brady and the Patriots had Adrian Peterson their whole career. Adrian Peterson? Now, Yeager, what you're saying, okay, so he's saying, I've seen too many times where vaunted New England defenses blew big leads or they let tying points score and getting lit up by Jake Delhomme. So the defenses were good. They were good. But what you're talking about would be more appropriate to call overrated. Okay, so what you're talking about is that's an argument, not that they're not good, but that's an argument for they're overrated. So when people say that the early teams were, defensive centric and wasn't that important for Brady, blah, 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 he wasn't, yeah. So that's complete and utter bullshit. So the team was defensive centric as in its ideology and how they believed their team should work and the framework of the team. But that wasn't the outcome. The outcome was a lot of times the defense shitting themselves and screwing up and needing help from the offense. So you got the overstated, Tom Brady, early dynasty, blah, blah, blah. They just assume that that's the situation. Well, it wasn't. So they take the 2001 season when the offense wasn't, a high-scoring team. The defense was pretty good. The defense wasn't as highly ranked as the legend says it was, okay? So if you listen to people like on X and pundits on TV, you would think that the 2001 Patriots defense was the 2000 Ravens, like the 02 Bucks. It's like, no, they weren't. So, yes, it was great that Ty Law had that pick six on Kurt Warner in the Super Bowl 36, right? That was awesome. And then I hear people say, oh, well, if it wasn't for the pick six, they wouldn't have won. Well, really, because if I remember correctly, everything after the pick six, there was a whole game that unfolded there. And based off the score, you do different things. So if the pick six didn't happen, then the Patriots need more points. Maybe you change the game plan. Maybe you take more chances. Maybe you throw it deep more. You adjust, okay? So you everything changes around that. That's what infuriates me about the Tuck Rule game. It's like, oh, the Tuck Rule game, blah, blah, blah. The Raiders are going to win. How the fuck do you know the Raiders are going to win? Like, you had all of this I'm talking about afterwards. So you had all this time. That was just a game-tying field goal. That wasn't a game ender. So you had overtime and everything. You know, it's like there's a whole game. But in Ty Law's situation, there was a lot of game left after he had that pick six. So all games are back and forth based off of how things are. The scoreboard, firstly, changes your decision making. Just like I was saying earlier about if that was a Patriots team versus the Packers, instead of Bruce Arians' Bucs, that lead would have been set on really well and efficiently. So everything changes. The Bucs were playing against the Packers. The Bucs were playing as if they were down by 21 points, which is stupid. Okay. So situations change. And because Ty Law had that pick six, because the greatest show on turf was limited to a relatively low score, the legend has become bigger than the truth and the facts. The real truth is that the defense started to break at the end. Kurt Warner figured them out, okay? Took him a while, but he finally got it. He figured them out. And had that coin toss, had it gone to overtime, and that coin toss gone towards the Rams, that game's over, okay? So it took Tom Brady to make sure that there wasn't a coin toss. Tom kept it from being decided in overtime because we all know what would have happened. That game is over if the Rams get that ball. Overtime rules were different back then, guys. It only took a field goal and first possession, field goal, over. You don't think Kurt Warner and those guys could have gotten into field goal range? They figured it out after that. After that touchdown with Ricky Prohl, that they were moving it. Like Tom said, the dam breaks. The dam breaks, and then the defense can't recover. That's what happens. Yep, Tharn, exactly. They hold them up. Like I said, the legend is bigger than the truth, than the facts. Thank you guys for the super chats tonight. Super chats are available on Rumble, by the way. Let me see if I can. Oh, I thought I had the link saved. Oh, here we go. Okay. We have another super chat from Alpha Courage. Nice, man. Thank you. Okay. Wait. We have another super chat from Alpha Courage. Go away. All right. Elf of Courage sends a $10 super chat, says, why are we talking about some of the times when Bill's defense was bad when there were many more times when Bill's defenses held teams to low scores and stopped offenses cold? Why are we talking about that? Well, are you referring to Tharn bringing it up, literally bringing it up, or are we talking about in general why people bring it up? Because we're actually countering the general speaking that is the legend of Bill Belichick's defenses, which is way bigger than the truth. The problem is that they've imploded a lot of times in Super Bowls. Every single Super Bowl that the Patriots played in, Tom did enough where they should have left. The game should have been it. That should have been the game winner. And how many times, and like I said, 2018, I give Bill credit for that, right? So I've always done that. I've always given him credit. But if you want to talk about 2017, that's egregious. Okay, so costing a team a Super Bowl is magnified massively. 2007, some people argue that the defense kind of imploded there, but I'm mixed on that one. Okay, so I'm mixed on that one because you have the greatest offense in history going against the lowly Giants, and you can't put up more than 14 points. That's not good, right? The Giants weren't exactly a offensive juggernaut, so you would expect that a team that's undefeated up until that point could stop Eli Manning from scoring more than 17. So I'm conflicted on that one. But 2011, that one was a situation where Tom drug whatever to the Super Bowl with a terrible secondary that was shit, that was so bad that they had Julian Edelman. I hope that motherfucker on the motorcycle, I hope he crashes into a fucking tree. Piece of shit. All right. No, the guy's an asshole. All right. The 2011 Super Bowl. So the secondary was garbage. Julian Edelman was put on defense. Okay, which was ridiculous. The Giants were the better team going into that game. I remember thinking, and that was my attitude, was like, wow, I really hope the Patriots can win this, because I feel like the Giants were just playing better football, and they had a lot of great players, and I just didn't like the kind of situation going on with New England the way they were during that year. And yeah, that one, that's just, come on, man. But 2017 is obviously the most egregious that everybody thinks about. So I think it's those big moments, Elf, that people. But for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's more about not trashing his defenses. It's about trying to balance things better, because again, there's the legend of Belichick defenses, like these are the so insanely great, and all this other stuff. So big moments is what sticks out to people, really. So I think that's really the deal, Yeah, Ace brings up Super Bowl 38, where Jake Delhomme, of course, Jake Delhomme, okay, was out there slinging the ball like he's Joe Montana, against the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Like, it was ridiculous. Yeah, people, kind of mentioned that one. That one's a bit rough. But they played good complementary football, is the point. So you need to score points. And Belichick's ego thought that Tom Brady could walk out of the door and that he could just do it on his own. And he found out the hard way that, wait a minute, having the best defense in the league or the top 10 defensive rankings means absolutely jack shit when you cannot have an offense that can get on the board. So I'm just I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about, how great the defenses were and all this stuff, as if Tom Brady was carried by that or something. It's nonsense. So, yeah, Tharn, I was very worried about that '07 team. They were not good against the Jaguars or the Chargers. It was not impressive. Yeah, I remember that 2011 defense, Ace, 31st, and I remember only one quarterback had a worse secondary, and that was Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. That secondary was just complete shit. And I think he made it all the way to like the divisional or something, right? Or the championship game. Did they make it to the championship game? Yeah. No, divisional, right? It had to have been divisional. The championship game was Giants-49ers, because I remember the 49ers fumbled the punt return. So otherwise, it would have been Patriots-49ers Super Bowl. Probably, maybe. Who knows? But maybe. But yeah, it was divisional. But yeah, not bad for such crappy secondaries, right? Yeah, so Tharn says 2011 Patriots conceded a 12-minute drive to the Giants in Super Bowl 46. Yeah, that one was rough. That one hurt. I mean, nothing hurt worse than '07 as far as just like devastating. But I was really wanting to win 2011. I was hoping to win, but I knew that the Giants were pretty good. I did not think that they were shitty like I thought in '07. Like in '07, I thought we got this. It's good. But 2011, I had a different view of them and wasn't so confident. So it was more of just hoping, that things come through. But yeah, it didn't go so well. Elva Courage says, at Von Allen, no VAS. That's just what sticks out to you. Okay. See, this is the problem with being nice to people. So Alpha Courage whines a little bit here and says, wow, damn it, just wow. And then he says, using a rant to ignore the super chat I sent. So you really think that I was talking to ignore your super chat? Really? Because your super chat is what? So amazing that I didn't want to respond to it? Okay. So I'm going to read it. Let's see how great this is. It must be Shakespeare. Elva Courage says a $5 super chat. So we're only talking Super Bowls. Never mind the 65% of regular season games where opponents were held to 17 points or less, or the 16 playoff games where opponents were held to 12 points or less. Just what I suspected, completely irrelevant to what I was talking about. You were asking, why do we only focus on that? Because we focus on Super Bowls. That is the target subject matter. That is what matters. Regular season means nothing if you are not good in the playoffs, if you are not good in the Super Bowls. So I don't know how much clearer I can be than that. Does that make it easier for you? Just curious. So if you want, you can keep sending me money to post shit like that. I'll be happy to reply. Who do these people think they are, man? Seriously. Accusing me of ignoring your thing? You seriously thought I was ignoring you? Come on. I need shit to talk about. Of course, I'm not going to ignore it. Okay. John Thomas Chavez says, also in 2011, the Giants rolled into New England and beat them at Gillette. Yeah, that one sucked. That was a bad year for me. 2011 was a very bad year, just all the way around. Well, until the end of the year. The end of the year was pretty good. Ace says, Rodgers with 32 pass defense was eliminated in the first. It was the first round. I thought that was the divisional that he lost. Wow. Okay. Brady with 31 pass defense makes it to the Super Bowl. So when Brady has equally shit defenses, he does more than Rodgers. Well, of course. So, no, the tournament starts next Saturday. And if you want to blame somebody, blame Milena. She didn't tell me that I had a super chat. So she normally does. Ace, that makes me curious about 2011. Just a second. I'm going to look this up. Okay, let me look that up real quick. Unbelievable. All right. What's even stranger about the Packers is that they were the champs. They were coming off the 2010 Super Bowl victory, which they went through. They beat the Steelers. Okay. It was. I was right. It was the divisional. So. Yeah, so in 2011, the Giants were the 4th seed, so they won their division. They beat the Falcons, Matt Ryan's Falcons, which is a weird score, 24-2. So the only points that Atlanta put up was a safety. Then the Giants went into Green Bay and beat them 37-20. And then Giants at 49ers. I remember this game so well. Milena, you were in the recording studio with Roman mixing one of my songs.
I was mixing it?
Well, you were with him. You were in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching this game. And it was the game after Baltimore. We beat Baltimore from the kicker missing, you know. So, yeah, I remember that day very well. Actually, to be honest with you, I use football games like famous games and even sometimes regular season games. I can use them as a point in a timeline to remember what I was doing or where I was, and it's kind of like a point of reference. I don't know. Do you guys do that? Do any of you guys do that? You can like use you can remember where you were at the time. Most games, especially playoff games and definitely Super Bowls, I can remember where I was, who I was watching them with, like who was around. I can remember everything, all that. So, yeah. So in 2011, Denver was the defending AFC champions, and they lost in the first round to the Denver Broncos. That was the famous Tim Tebow game. Milena, do you remember this season? You kept asking, why does everyone keep talking about this guy named Tim Tebow?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then you had the Houston Texans beating the Bengals 31-10. And then so it goes to the divisional round. Baltimore beat Houston 2013. We beat Denver 45-10. That was against Tebow, of course. And that's when that whole Tebow thing kind of came off the tracks, yeah? So, interesting. Strange year. Strange year.
Don't miss my super chat now.
Don't miss your super chat? Is that what you just said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want you thinking that I'm running away from you. I just started ranting about 2011 so I could avoid your super chat. I'm sorry.
Rant about that.
I'm going to rant about your... Okay. $12. So Milena's normal super chat, which is 12, of course, for Brady. And by the way, I wasn't ranting a while ago. We're just talking.
Oh, I know, I'm joking.
And Milena says apologies. Okay. I don't understand the reference, but all right. I remember what I was doing. You Minuteman, you do? I was in Minuteman says he was in middle school when the Patriots lost to the Giants in 2011. Holy crap. Wow.
That's another super chat.
I was in middle school when I watched the Bills lose to the Cowboys the first time. Yeah. I was in middle school when, so the third Bills loss, I was in middle school. Wow. Yeah, I got it. Tapasio says Belichick don't believe in hype don't believe the hype in 2007 because the Patriots last or before last game was with them. The Giants were hyped to win the Super Bowl. A little bit of swag is not bad. I'm not really sure what you're saying here. Hang on. Belichick don't believe in hype in 2007 because the Patriots and before the last game was with the Giants. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. I got you. John Thomas Chavez says, I was in 6th grade that same season in 2011. And right now I'm avoiding Elf of Courage's super chat.
That's why I'm like,
I'm avoiding it because I'm worried. Here, watch me avoid it even more.
no.
Watch this. Look, I'm avoiding it.
What are you doing?
I'm avoiding the super chat because I'm afraid.
Oh, you're afraid what it's going to say?
I'm afraid.
No.
Remember?
Yeah.
Well, that's what he implied earlier.
No.
So I'm afraid of it. So in order to handle it, I'm gonna have a Coke. Okay.
No shot of tequila?
No, don't drink. Okay, maybe I should.
No, that's okay.
I tell you what, guys, it's everything I can to care about football 24/7 when the entire world is about to burn down. All right. Okay, here we go. I've already screenshotted this thing. Oh, there's another one. go? Oh, there you are. Alpha Courage sends a $20 super chat and says, to make my peace with Von Allen, Bill's defenses have imploded many times due to Tom having the league record of most comeback wins for his career. Sorry about my rant. I just got agitated. I apologize. No worries, man. Thank you for that. Alpha Courage says another $5 super chat. He says, on the subject of 2007, we never did thank Rex Ryan for calling timeout on 4th and 2 in Baltimore. That is true. And I absolutely remember that. I thought that Brian Billick called that timeout. And I remember they were showing the camera on him, and he just looked just devastated. And and he wasn't even the one that did it. That's rough. But honestly, I don't know what you guys think, but do you think that we win the Super Bowl had we lost that game to Baltimore? Do you think it changes at all? Or do you think it has any impact on it? Because I have heard a lot of the players who have said that the pressure of going undefeated was on their mind in the Super Bowl. I've always wondered that. Like, had they just lost the game towards the end, would that have mattered? You know? You would think that the close games with Baltimore and then the Eagles wasn't exactly easy. I remember Kevin Kolb was the quarterback for Andy Reid at the time, and I think it was Kolb, and they played pretty well against us because he was filling in for McNabb. And you would think, and then how the Giants gave us such a problem in Week 17 that should have been sufficient for not being cocky. But again, the pressure's still there. But they were cocky going into the Super Bowl, and it was very rare to see Tom like that. If you remember, Tom was like, "Oh, they think they're going to keep us from scoring more than 14 points or whatever," and they kind of had that. They were still quite cocky, and I just wonder sometimes if had they lost, I would have rather had the Super Bowl victory with no undefeated season than it's just obviously. So I just hope that didn't have anything to do with it. There was something I was going to do here. Hang on just a second. Oh, yeah. There we go. Let's see. Where is it? Legion logo. There it is. I got tired of my drink being over the Legion logo like that. It looks weird. Okay. I'm a fraud. Yes, I'm a fraud. Alpha Courage says, oh, wait. Sorry, that's Minuteman. I think they would have won. Yeah. Yeah. Ego can be your own worst enemy. Absolutely. Yeah. It's, like I said, the players had mentioned that it did creep in, and it was somewhat of a problem, but, man, it would have been cool to be undefeated, though, I have a question for you guys. What would have happened if they had won the Super Bowl? That would mean that they don't play Kansas City in Week 1. It means that they open up the season on primetime TV against a different team. So he never gets hurt. What is 08 like? What is 09 like? Are they different? So in the aspect of, does he get an MVP in 08? Do they win the Super Bowl again? 09, if you guys remember, 09 was a very awkward year because he was coming back. Do they have kind of the weird season where they go and they just get destroyed by the Baltimore Ravens at home in the playoffs? What do you guys think changes? Because then you go into 2010, and then he's MVP, of course, unanimous MVP, and then they get put out by the Jets because, partly because Bill thought it was a good idea to bench Wes Welker in the first quarter. Fucking dumb shit like that. But what do you think? I think for sure, I actually think that they may have been able to go undefeated in 08. Not really, but they would have come close. I think they would have gone 15-1, 14-2, probably in 08, and just went and easily won the Super Bowl. I think it would have been, 09 is the tricky one. 09 is like what would have been different there. So that would have been interesting to find out. Could they have gone a three-peat? Could they have been the first three-peat Super Bowl winner ever? That I've always kind of wondered what would happen there. It's like a alternate universe kind of thing, right? So, definitely zigzag, definitely. Minuteman says prime time against the Steelers in Week 1. It would have been against the Steelers in that case. Okay, 15-1 season with TB12 MVP. I think they lose to Baltimore in 08. So you think they lose in the playoffs? Wow. Interesting. Alva Courage thinks they go 34-0. Wow. Huh. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the matchups for tomorrow. There's one I'm specifically very interested in, and it's the Chiefs and Bills. So let me tell you, the Patriots next week are against the Chiefs. The Patriots' next game is the Chiefs. I'm going to laugh my ass off if they somehow beat them. Could you imagine that kind of meltdown for Chiefs fans if that happened? Oh, Minuteman, that's a good question. If the Patriots had gone undefeated in 07, what if the Patriots gone undefeated in 07 if they had won in 06? No. Okay? No, because the reason that they got Randy Moss and Wes Welker and all those guys is because of what they lacked in 06, and clearly they lost to Peyton Manning because they couldn't keep up, basically. At least that's in Belichick's mind, and he would not have done that. The 06 loss and the way they lost, and that year was the catalyst for Bill to kind of go out and get those guys. At least I think it was. So maybe he doesn't do that. Maybe he does. I don't know, but it could change the thinking process. So that's a good one, though. That is a good question. That's a good what if. I wish the Chiefs-Bills was a primetime game. I don't... Man. Well, it's the 1:30 game for me, but I would prefer it being the night game. Okay. So we got the Kansas City versus Buffalo. Okay, so the Chiefs thing is that they just not clicking on offense. All teams go through this. It happens to everybody. It even happened to New England sometimes. It's just the way it goes. They're still got a great record. They're still in the lead of their division. Nothing's going to change that. I don't think it's that big of a deal that they lost to Green Bay, although I think it's funny or whatever. I don't think it's going to affect their situation long term. And like I said, the situation with Green Bay and how that ended, the way that they didn't throw a flag on the pass interference, but they threw a flag for pass interference earlier that wasn't pass interference. And then they gave a penalty for a hit that was completely legal on Mahomes. That was bullshit, right? But then they wouldn't throw a flag on a clear pass interference call later on. The fact that they lost that game to the Packers in that way makes me double down on my prediction that they will be bailed out in the playoffs. So that is more of that just increases the odds now. So that actually concerned me more than anything else. The Chiefs will be in the Super Bowl unless they're blown out. So there's the deal. I do not like what Buffalo has been doing lately, but can I pick the Chiefs seem to be in the Bills' head, right? So the Bills have some kind of complex there with the Chiefs. I just don't think that they can beat them at Arrowhead. Honestly, I don't know. I don't see it. I'm going for Buffalo, but I think Kansas City takes this game. This is a close one. If you're betting, I would stay away from this one. I would not touch this one at all. If you're just, we're talking just money line. I'm not talking about props and things like that. I just say, just for that game itself, I would stay away from that one. Okay, Cincinnati versus Indianapolis. So Cincinnati is kind of tricky because of what they've looked okay without Milena's boyfriend. So I'm still going Indy here. So I'm going with Stash Goat. I think he's gonna win it for Indianapolis. Okay, Atlanta versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like Atlanta here, actually. Chargers versus Denver Broncos. Denver. And I know they had a mishap last week, but I still think they've kind of got things figured out. And I think the Chargers are just one game closer to firing their idiotic coach, Brandon Staley. And if they don't, well, that's just typical Dean Spanos, isn't it? So, Cleveland. Denver. Cleveland versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Cleveland at home. I think Cleveland's time is run. I think they were playing okay football with Watson. Now he's out. They have some bad backups, and they got beat by the Rams here in town just last week. Jacksonville. They've got Cleveland the favorite, by the way. Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville lost Trevor Lawrence, okay? I get that. I know. I'm still going Jacksonville. Detroit at Chicago. Detroit's going to put up 45, okay? They might give up 35. They seem to not be able to match up with their offense, but I like Detroit for that. That's an easy one. Minnesota at Las Vegas. I'm going to go Vegas here. Houston at New York Jets. Houston, come on. Dallas versus Philadelphia. We'll come back to that one. New Orleans versus Carolina. Carolina they're playing. They're actually trying. They're obviously not tanking. So they're going to win some games eventually. And I think this is a game that they can win. I really do. Okay. So I'm going to go. They've got to win eventually. One time more. I think they end the season 2-15, and I think this is one of their victories against a division rival. Because if they're going to get a win, it's going to be against a division rival that they know that is mediocre. And why not the Saints? Okay. Green Bay at New York Giants. There's no way Green Bay is not going to come off that victory that they had, right, and not feel good about it and play well. They should anyway. It's in New York. I don't care. I'm going Green Bay. They're 6.5-point favorites. Baltimore versus LA Rams. Baltimore is going to slap the living shit out of the Rams tomorrow. There's no way the Rams are going to go all the way to Baltimore outdoors and it is in Baltimore, right? I think it is. I thought that. Whoa. Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, this is going to be a bloody beatdown. Okay. Miami versus Tennessee. Please. Miami. How many? It's basically you take your pick how many points you think they're going to put up. San Francisco versus Seattle. 13.5-point favorites. Looks like this line is a bit reacting to Philadelphia and the 49ers last week. So what the 49ers did to the Eagles. Division games are weird. This is against the Seattle Seahawks. 13.5 points. I'm not so sure about this. I don't like it. Do I like San Francisco to win? Yes. But I don't like the point spread. All right. And going back to Dallas versus Philadelphia. This is at Jerry World. Sunday Night Football. That's a great primetime game. Too bad the Monday night game is not Buffalo and Kansas City, and we'd have it perfect, right? But that is a great Sunday night game. Dallas versus Philly. Dallas is 3.5-point favorites. I'm going to be honest with you. Every time I go for Cowboys and they're in prime time like this, Dak always does something stupid at the end, or his coach does, okay? So it's either McCarthy or Dak or whatever, both of them together, but something weird always happens. I want to pick Dallas, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them to just have a big win against a team like this, you know? And I don't think Philadelphia has taken well to being destroyed by the 49ers. So, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that the Dallas Cowboys get it done. I think they're going to get it done. I think finally they'll make me happy, because I've been talking up Dak for years, and I just want to see him. I want to see them get it all, put it all together. I'm not a Cowboys hater like a lot of people, are or whatever. I know people don't like their fan base and stuff like that, but there's much worse fan bases, like the Eagles, for example. Much worse fan base. So I'm gonna go on a limb here and pick Dallas, even though they're the favorites. I think that still is, so we'll go with that. So this is their time, right? I think it's good for football for some of the old teams who haven't been around to be playing well. I wish the Cleveland Browns had never lost Deshaun Watson. I would have loved to seen the Browns in the playoffs. That would have been amazing. I love seeing Detroit Lions play well and all that. That's great. And Dallas, I would like to see Dallas kind of go far. I think it'd be exciting. You guys imagine the craziness of a Dallas Super Bowl run? Like if the Cowboys could make it all the way to the Super Bowl, could you imagine the craziness around that? The 2 weeks leading up to that Super Bowl would be insane. And it'd be even funnier if it was against the Chiefs, because the Chiefs used to be the Dallas Texans, and then they left town when the Cowboys were there, and they left town and to Kansas City and created the Chiefs. In fact, there's even a video on YouTube of Lamar Hunt at the site where they're building Arrowhead Stadium. It's really cool. So I don't remember the name of it, but if you just type that in, it'll come up, I'm sure, because it's got a lot of views and stuff. So But yeah, could you imagine the craziness of a Cowboys Super Bowl appearance? And if only we could have got a Patriots Cowboys Super Bowl, that would have been. It would have shattered every single record ever, like just completely obliterated it. Could you imagine that? Let's say 2007. Do you remember when we played Romo's Cowboys in week 7, I think it was? And at the end, when Romo and Brady shook hands, Romo said, "We'll see you at the Super Bowl." Could you imagine if that's what would have happened? That's craziness, absolute craziness. Maybe we'll get it. You know, so I wouldn't mind seeing San Francisco do something. I like Christian McCaffrey. I like the new kid, the new quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant. People are always waiting on him to fail, so that makes me want to see him do well. I like Deebo Samuel and those guys. So, yeah, that would be cool to see the 49ers back at the Super Bowl and actually win it this time instead of screwing it up. So they choked it away in 2012. They choked it away in 2019. Maybe they can actually win it this time. So let's see who else is coming out of the NFC that I wouldn't mind going to the Super Bowl. So wouldn't mind the Cowboys. Nobody in NFC North except Detroit, but you guys know I want to see Detroit make it there. NFC South, my God, that's pointless to even mention, even talk about. And then you've got the NFC West. Of course, the Cardinals, they're not even going to make the playoffs. The Rams are pretenders. They're nothing. So 49ers and Seahawks. That's it. And Seahawks are in a weird area. They're like they're in this strange section. Like they're just good enough to keep themselves from drowning, but they're not good enough to actually swim out of their situation, if that makes any sense. You know, so they're just good enough to screw themselves over, but they're still alive. You know, they can get like one of the later seeds, but they're not. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to come of it, right? Yeah. So my number one NFC team I want to see is Detroit, then probably San Francisco. But I would like to see Dallas also just for the spectacle of it. I think the spectacle would be insane. It would be hilarious. And honestly, it would get me to watch First Take because I would love to see Stephen A. Smith's reaction for the 2 weeks leading up to a Cowboys Super Bowl victory. That would be hilarious, especially if they had lost. If they ended up losing the Super Bowl, that would be award-winning television right there. So, out of the AFC, I'm not really. Gosh, the AFC, man, it's such a mess. Out of the AFC East, of course, it's good when the division does well. I'm not one of these people. The division rival thing is kind of played out. I honestly, I'm bored of it. I wouldn't mind a change in the scheduling where, you don't always have to play your division rivals twice per year. I get bored with these matchups. They're overtime, so I don't really care about that much. And what I mean by that is that I don't hate on a success of another division rival. I really don't have anything against the Bills. Like it doesn't bother. They don't bother me or anything. I wouldn't mind seeing the Bills get to a Super Bowl, so that would be cool. But they're not going to. The Dolphins would annoy me a little bit, honestly. I don't know. It's just kind of annoying, right? Of course, the Jets aren't making the playoffs, so that doesn't matter. NFC North, Cleveland, nothing. Cincinnati, nothing. Nothing there. Pittsburgh, well, you just saw what happened. So that just leaves Baltimore. Would I mind Baltimore? Yeah, Baltimore would be kind of cool. Anybody from the AFC, honestly, except the Chiefs. That would be nice. So, yeah, I would go for Baltimore over if they ran into the Chiefs. That would be cool. AFC North. AFC North. That's Jaguars without a quarterback. That is Houston, which we'll see. Maybe they can get in. Somebody's got to win that shitty division. Tennessee Titans, nothing. It's a shame about the Jaguars because had they won the game last week and Trevor Lawrence didn't get hurt, they had the number one record in the AFC. That's really what's sad about this. But now I don't expect a whole lot. But yeah, so AFC West, nobody but Kansas City. Denver, like I said, they're finally kind of putting together, but too little too late. Next year will be when they really probably can challenge the Chiefs for the division. Chargers, they've got to fire their head coach. They have to, right? You've got to save Herbert's career, and then you've got the Raiders, which are the Raiders. Nothing else needs to be said. I really want Brady to be a Cowboy. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Before when he was deciding what team to go to, I wanted him to go to the Cowboys. What I was really hoping for also is that the Bucs would trade him to the Cowboys for the 2022 season. That would have been cool. Biocop says, "What's up, man? As a Hawks fan, I wouldn't mind San Francisco in the Super Bowl." Yeah, see, it's the division thing's a bit played out, right? Alpha Courage says, also imagine the cries of historic racism of Cowboys Chiefs Super Bowl from leftist and PC social justice warriors. Yes, that would be hilarious, especially if the Cowboys beat the Chiefs. Cowboys versus Indians, oh my God. Yes, that would be intensely funny. Yeah, the Seattle. That's a strange situation with them. They're not bad enough to get like a high pick or get some good capital or trade out and get some value out of it. And they're not that bad to do that. They're not good enough to actually go to a Super Bowl. So they're in like a very weird area. Minuteman says, I wouldn't mind seeing the Patriots win again. Yeah, well. I don't win, it sucks. I don't even try to take it too seriously, it's just they suck. And if they become good again, then that will be fun and that will be interesting. But it is weird not having a rooting interest, like a real personal rooting interest. It feels very strange. I don't like it, but that's the way it is right now, I guess, right? The Minuteman asks, you mean like rotating divisions every year? Yeah, or you could still keep the divisions and you're competing, but there's a problem. I think I have a problem with the situation in a lot of ways. So first of all, I don't like maybe even get rid of divisions. I don't know. Because I don't like the division situation where you win your division and you get a playoff spot. I don't believe in that. I think that's ludicrous. I think it's complete bullshit. I think it should be who's the best record in the AFC or NFC, and that's it. That's where the seeding comes from, straight up. There is no division this, division that. every single week when the Patriots Jets come up, I'm like, yawn. Patriots Dolphins, yawn. How many? This matchup is constant. Like it's boring. And I'm talking about even the divisional matchups with all the other teams. I just don't care, you know? Like and the Dallas New York Giants, they always put this on primetime TV. It's garbage. Nobody wants to see it except the fucking Cowboys fans. It's boring. Nobody cares. Oh, but it's a division rival. Yeah. Really? Okay. So I guess I'm just bored of it. So yeah, maybe just AFC and NFC, and that's really the deal, you know. And who is the best is the best. Of course, there were some teams that would have a problem with that, especially with travel and stuff like that. You know, you got a team like Seattle that gets to go to San Francisco, that gets to go to Arizona. That's it's built into the schedule, and gets to go to Los Angeles. So they would probably not be happy because that's 3 very close nearby games. So, but whatever, who cares? I still think it'd be more fun. And I don't like the 7th seed. I don't like the participation trophy. No 7th seed will ever do anything. I just don't. I don't think it will ever happen. I don't see it. So it's very difficult for a 6 seed. 6 seed has done it. I think a few times. It's very rare. But a 7th seed, usually the difference between the 6th seed and 7th seed, quality-wise, is very big. But I don't like it. I think it should go back to the way it was. So, Itchy Knee says, living in the Philly area, seeing the Cowboys twice a year usually brings a ton of excitement in the city. I also enjoy away games that are easy to travel to. So here's something, Itchy Knee, that they could do. They could maybe take your biggest rival or the biggest, most important game, and then that is your twice per year, you know, and then you mix it up a little bit. Because, like, nobody cares about for your team, for example, you're at Eagles. Nobody cares about playing the Redskins or the Giants. I mean, it's like, because they suck, right? So each year right now, the NFL already schedules things based on teams last year. So they see, oh, this matchup is good for prime time. So they know kind of what it is. Maybe, what if they made the schedule also with that in mind? That'd be kind of cool. You wouldn't do it with everything. You would just do it so you would take one team that's a good rival. So maybe you would take the Cowboys and Eagles, and that's got to be something that they do, you know, or whatever. I don't know. I don't have it all figured out or mapped out or whatever, but I'm just burned out on the whole division thing. But most importantly, it's the division, where you win the division and you get a playoff spot. I think that is bullshit. So if you want to keep the divisions, fine, we can do that. But that is complete bullshit. If you don't have the record, you don't have the record. And you certainly shouldn't get a 4th seed. Now that's ridiculous. So I said AFC North when I think you meant South. Okay, I'm going to take your word for it. I don't even remember which one I was talking about at the time. I've also seen arguments for divisional realignment with geographically. So that would be kind of interesting. So you would have, although that would put some teams in the same market within the same division, but apparently it doesn't bother them to have the Bengals and Browns in the same division, which you would think that you would want one of them to be an NFC team. I've always wondered why the Browns or the Bengals weren't moved to the NFC during the realignment in 2002. Why did they move the Seahawks? I would have thought it'd be better probably to move the Bengals or the Browns. So you have two teams in state of Ohio that one is in the other conference, because they do that in Texas. You know, they've got the Houston in the AFC, because Houston had to be in the AFC if you wanted to keep that going, with Dallas being in the NFC. Then you've got the Rams and Chargers. You got New York. You got the Jets and Giants. If you did geographic location, then you would have to put the Giants and Jets, like Elf said, you'd have to put the Giants and Jets in the same division if you wanted to do it that way. So it would be interesting. Itchy says, I remember when the Cardinals were in the NFC East. So do I. How weird is that, right? It's bizarre. It's honestly, even Dallas in the NFC East sounds funny to me, you know, or Indianapolis being in the AFC South. That you would think the Dolphins would be in the AFC South. Like, I don't know. It's just, but yeah. I do remember the Cardinals being in the NFC East. And that actually came from when they were the St. Louis Cardinals, and they kept it, but they're out west, and yeah, it's a strange thing. Because the Seattle Seahawks were in the AFC West, so the Seahawks were with the Chiefs and Broncos and all those guys. So yeah, exactly. So in the realignment in 2002, when they had even, so I just would have kept Seattle in the AFC, and I would have moved probably moved the Bengals, I guess. So I would have moved the Bengals to out, but what division would you would have had to have moved somebody else from a different division if you wanted to keep at least some continuity there for geographic locations to keep it somewhat reasonable. You'd have to move somebody else if you did that. So whatever. That could be a fun video, actually, to kind of redraw the divisions and see what would work and see what kind of see what we could come up with. That could be cool, actually. All right, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna get off here. I appreciate you. Josh, what's up, man? It's been a while. You still playing football? Are you kicking, right? Where you been? You're a high school kicker, right? I hope you're doing well. Come back on earlier next time, and if you got some highlights or something, I'll show them off. You got to send them to me, okay? Von Allen Sports at iCloud.com. Send me some stuff. All right. Talk to you guys later. Let's see. Is there anything else I'm missing? Copy. Wait. Oh, here we go. Okay. Hey, Josh, you're going to like this, okay? So enjoy.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports, the Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
Hey, look, here's the deal. Look, I want to buck you guys up a little bit. Did you hear what I said? I said buck you guys up. Von Allen Sports, this is Sleepy Joe, and I got to give you a shout out, man. He's a good guy, because he could kick my ass, that's why. But he's not going to do that. He's going to pick on an old man. Here's the deal, guys. I got a whole dossier on you here. You could probably never shut up about Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady. Von Allen Sports, let's go. I don't like that, man. That's too close to let's go Brandon. Let's be honest, you football guys. I know what you're doing at the game. You're all chanting, let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon. Von Allen Sports, let's go. I think you guys are great. And I think I ought to join your group. You know why? Because I'm basement butthurt. That's why. I spent the whole campaign in the basement, and I'm going to do it again. That's how I win, you know. They locked me in the basement. So I'm basement butthurt. I'm halfway there, guys. Let's do this. Come on, man.